Well, friends, good morning. I'd like to welcome you to Growing Families. We never know how many people we're going to have, so there could be some other people drifting in a few minutes, and that will be wonderful. But I am grateful that you are all with us this morning. It's a few announcements I'd like to make over here. For those of you men that are here, we have a wonderful men's retreat coming up in just a couple of weeks, and you can sign up today for that. It's in the narthex. There's a place to sign up. It's with our former senior pastor, Gary Demarest, and believe it or not, his son-in-law, who actually used to be on our staff as well, Pete Whitelock's now the pastor at Lafayette Arinda Presbyterian Church up in the Bay Area. And they're going to team it together. It's going to be up in Ventura at the Pierpont. A great weekend. Great way to meet other men in the church as well. In the same way, Women's Retreat is coming up April 25th to 27th. And again, they're starting their sign-ups, and you can do that in the narthex as well. Then the Family Lent event. As we go through the season of Lent, we're having a special thing here for our children. That's going to be Friday, April 11th in the evenings. Some of this may be in the bulletins that you should see near you on your seats as well, this information. All church camp. This is for everybody, not just families, but everybody in the family of God here in our church, or friends and neighbors. We go up the coast, up above Santa Barbara, and it's June 14th through 17th. And note, I think that's a Thursday for that weekend. And that's a great a weekend away as well for families. And the next Growing Families will be April 13th on Love and Logic. So that'll be back in here at 9:25. So keep those things in mind. Again, we welcome you. And today especially, we are grateful to have Hayden Sears-Livesay, and she is joining us to talk about 9 simple steps to the healthier family. And already we are healthier today. There's been about 6 of you already who've asked me, where are the donuts back there? I was one of them looking. I am one of those people who never met a chip I didn't like and quickly devour if it was in front of me. So this is going to be a benefit for all of us, adults and children, especially for those of us who were not really raised with this really good understanding of what healthy food was. My understanding of healthy food growing up was, could I cover my cereal with a full layer of sugar so that the cereal disappeared? How many of you actually did that as a kid, right? I don't know how my parents survived with that, but having wonderful resources today, and certainly Hayden is one of them, to come and lead us into a better understanding of how we really can have healthier families. We are delighted to have her with us today. Hayden, it is exciting to have us. If you notice on here, she actually wore the same sweater that she had in the picture, so we'd be able to recognize her better. She is the daughter of Dr. William Sears. And how many of you have read any of Dr. Sears' books growing up? I mean, we did that with our child as well. And so it's great that she's connected with that. She was a graduate of Azusa Pacific, both undergrad and a master's level in music, and turned that also into a way to be able to speak to us today about nutrition. So would you please join me in welcoming Hayden this morning?
Thank you. Thank you. It's great that you guys are all here early in the morning. I still think it's 8:30, so it'll be like that for the next couple of days. So you guys get extra bonus points for being here extra early to hear about this awesome topic that I'm very passionate about. Actually, today, I know on your flyer it says 9 simple steps to a healthy family. I'm going to be doing my new talk that's new for this year. It's a lot of similar information, just kind of in a different way. But if you are somebody at the end of the talk and you really want kind of those structured 9 steps, my dad has a DVD available that presents those 9 steps, and we have it available for you at cost for just $3. So if that's something you want to take home to your family, I would love for you to be able to do that. And we'll also be giving a couple of those away at the end, so stick around to the end. So let me tell you a little bit more about myself, just so you can kind of understand why I'm here at 8:30. Still 8:30 on a Sunday morning. So I grew up in a very healthy family. I was very blessed to be the daughter of Dr. Sears, and my mom really is, for the first kind of half of our family's life, she was really the catalyst for healthy eating. My dad was, he'd kind of go along with it, but I'll tell you more about his story to come later. But she really, really initiated healthy eating in our family in a big way. And that would play an important role in my life, because fast forward many years and I go off to college and I start eating in the cafeteria. Most of the standard typical American diet and living that lifestyle. And it didn't take my body long to react to that. To make a really long story short, I started experiencing very odd symptoms, and after working with doctors and tests, I was diagnosed with something called polycystic ovary syndrome. It's kind of like insulin resistance, prediabetes. It's kind of in that realm. It was something I was born with, but it had never presented itself until I started eating fast food. So I remember I had kind of I think really a life-changing moment when my doctor, at the age of 19 years old, sat me down and said, Hayden, if your mom hadn't fed you the way she did growing up, you could be a very sick girl right now. And that really spoke to me because, my mom didn't feed me the way she did because she knew I had this. She had no idea. She did so because somebody simply shared with her the importance of doing so. And I will forever be grateful. This is them, and I owe them a lot. And these are my kiddos who, with what I have, should have been very hard to come by. But they weren't. God bless me with them. And my oldest, Ashton, is 10. My middle daughter, Morgan, is almost 7. And my youngest, Landon, is 4. And a lot of what I will be talking about today, they were involved in teaching me. And really, this is why I'm here today, because somebody, shared with my mom, and I'm here to share with you, because my sweet kiddos are here today, and I want to help change your family and help keep your family on an amazing nutritional path. I feel like everybody is kind of on a nutritional journey. Some of you may just be starting to learn the connection between whole food and health, and there may be some of you out there that could do this better than I could. In fact, I'm curious, are there any nutritionists or health enthusiasts or doctors or anybody out in the audience? Anybody? Oh, cool. Yeah, awesome. But I think everybody's, on that journey somewhere, and so my hope for you guys today is that wherever you're at, you'll just be able to take a few tools with you to maybe move down that path on your journey a little bit. And some of the stuff I might be talking to you about today might be way, that might be for later, and that's fine. And I also love learning from you guys, so I always love to take home some tools. Also, this is a judgment-free zone. As a parent, I know we're constantly getting information and resources, and sometimes it can be very overwhelming. And I can find myself, when I learn a new tool or something that's really important, I can find myself saying like, oh, I should have done that, or oh, I wish I would have known, or, kind of really beat myself up because I didn't do that. And I really don't find that's very helpful. What I like to do is think, okay, from now on, or oh, now that I know, I get to. So let's move forward with that type of attitude. Eating whole food in a fast food world. What does that really mean? I find that we get a lot of mixed messages in our society, even driving along the freeway and the billboards and the signs. We get a lot of mixed messages, and it can be really easy for us to start thinking that certain things are what we're supposed to eat. And people pay a lot of money so that we will think that. I really love being here because eating whole food to me is really eating it the way God created it to be. And we've done a lot with food in this country that I'm not sure is so great and that he would even recognize as what he created anymore. And so I just love, as we move forward, just to think, God created food for us to do amazing things in our bodies. And I love people being able to grasp that and really embrace that amazing tool and that amazing thing he gave us to heal and grow our bodies. I'm really curious, just because I feel like we have a mix here. How many of you guys have kids under 5? Or will have kids under 5 someday? Or still? Great. How many of you maybe have kids over 5 through teenage years? Okay, awesome. Oh, great, so I have to cover everything. No. I don't have very long, and so I'm going to cover some things, but I really want to start off with something I'm really passionate about, which is shaping young tastes, and also reshaping old ones. I think that is a really great way to start because, we from we're very young, we don't come into the world having a like for donuts and chocolate and pizza. I think I did with chocolate, but it's something we're taught. We're taught to like those foods, and so if we can really help our kids from when they first start eating food to really love and embrace real whole food, they'll learn how to like junk food later. Somebody will introduce them to that, and that's great. You don't have to worry about that. But if we can really, those first couple years, maybe even 3 or 4 years of their life, if we can really keep most of this fast food out of their diet, you will shape their taste and their palate and their brains and their stomachs to love and embrace whole food. Junk food will creep in eventually, and that's great, but this will be their first love. This will be what they're programmed to love. Whenever I learn a new tool, I kind of always have to weigh the hassle-benefit ratio. You guys know what I mean? It's like, okay, how much hassle and resistance is this going to cause versus the benefit? Because, and shaping young tastes, I have to say, is a commitment. It is going to be a hassle. You are going to get resistance. It's work. But for me and for what I've learned, it is so worth it because it will pay dividends for generations to come in your family. And also reshaping old ones. That can be a little more difficult for our teenagers or ourselves, or maybe some of the other adults that live in our house. But it is also definitely worth it. I'm going to talk about some tools, and I'm going to spend time on just a few of them because I don't want to talk for 2 hours. But these are some tools that have really worked well for us. I find that choices are empowering, and so I know that for me, if somebody tells me I have to do something, sometimes it's hard, and I'd rather have a choice, even now as an adult. And so if I'm preparing for dinner, I find it very respectful to my kids if I say, hey, do we want asparagus or broccoli tonight? Which one? They throw out, hey, we'll have broccoli tonight. Awesome. So when it comes time to eat dinner, and they kind of are complaining, well, you chose the broccoli. Tomorrow we'll have asparagus. That gave them a choice. Or I may have somebody in charge that night of picking the vegetable or picking what we're going to have that's grow food. I love the idea of printing up a list of grow foods you can find online and giving it to your kids and having them highlight or circle the ones they like, the ones they really enjoy. And I stock my fridge with those. And then I like to have them maybe put a little star by ones that they would like to try or let's work on these. Let's try these. We've never really experienced those. That just helps them get involved. And then when it is in your fridge, you can say, well, look, it was on your list, so let's not let this rot because that's a shame. I also like to encourage my family to think ahead. In our family, we kind of have a one treat a day rule. Like, we're not gonna have ice cream in the middle of the day and then go to a birthday party and have cake. So, if my family knows, well, we're going to be going to a birthday party later, we're probably not going to bake cookies in the morning, or we're not going to have a bunch of syrup on our waffles. We'll pick peanut butter instead, or something like that. So it just helps them think a little bit ahead and make just choices for themselves. There has been times when my daughter was like, no, I really want to have cookies right now. Like, awesome. So later when we go to that birthday party, she knows that she'll have to skip the cake. And that was her choice, which was great. And I feel like that's an awesome life tool, too, for them to learn. I also love having a place in my refrigerator and cupboards where it is stocked with grow food. I don't call it really healthy food. I like to call it grow food. That way, they don't have to constantly be asking, or Mom, I'm hungry, and then that could be all day long. They know there's a place they can go and pretty much eat whatever they want from that place, and that empowers them and keeps them from having to feel like they always have to go through me. And then creating standards. I feel like we, especially in a place like this, we have a lot of standards that we want to impart to our children. And a lot of them are standards that the world maybe doesn't understand, or that are a little extra special, whether it's spiritual or, how we treat each other. And I love what we eat to really fit in that. This is how we speak to each other. This is what we wear. This is what we believe. This is what we watch. This is what we eat. It really fits together well in there. And I love this, it's from my favorite book. I read it almost every day. And Paul, who wrote this, he understood that. He understood that this really, what we eat and what we drink, really fits into our life as a standard, and doing it all, not just being a Christian and this part, but what we eat and what we drink. That's for the glory of God too. And I love having that just be a blanket over our family, so I don't have to preach and Let's do it all to the glory of God. Everything we do. So I appreciate Paul's words there. Making it fun. I think this is important because we are battling advertisements. I think, the last statistic I heard was $14 billion is spent per year advertising food to our children. I don't know. I don't have that much money, so I have to be a little bit more creative, right? One of my daughters is an artist, and I let her play with her food. I let her make all sorts of fun things out of fruits and vegetables because then she eats them, and it's fun for her. This is my little drama queen pretending that her fingers are melting off with raspberries and then gobbling them up. I feel like we have a lot of traditions around food that is not so great for us, that tears us down. And so I love to encourage families to create traditions using grow food, using real awesome food, and making it fun in that way. In our family, we try to only eat grow food in front of the TV. I know that pretty much whatever I put down when my kids are watching TV, they'll just keep eating mindlessly. And so why not have it be something I want them to eat mindlessly instead of a whole bag of chips or whatever. Right, and I was one of those kids growing up that if you tell me to do something, please tell me why, because I want to understand. I don't just want to comply, I really want to understand. And I'm even that way as an adult, and I feel that that can be very empowering. Kids love to learn. They love to learn all those, why shouldn't I eat this? Or why do we pick this type of bread over this type of bread? Really, first of all, for ourselves, like understanding why. Because if we don't, it's really easy to slip back and not put that standard forward. So imparting our kids with this knowledge is really great. I think it's very, very helpful. Every child and every person is different, so I feel like we need a lot of different tools in our toolbox. For my youngest, my son, it's a little bit more difficult in what he chooses to eat. And so for him, the if-then system works really well. Yes, honey, you can have more noodles if you eat your broccoli. Or when. You can have more noodles when you eat your broccoli. I don't know about your family, but my kids love noodles and will pretty much eat anything if they can get more noodles. So I use that, I'm not saying, no, you can't have this. I'm saying, yeah, of course you can have some more noodles. Let's eat our broccoli first. And now he says, Mom, can I have more noodles? I ate my broccoli. So it's just awesome. A lot of parents have, reward for trying new foods can help because that makes it fun instead of making it punitive. Hiding grow food. This brings up the concept of metabolic programming. Big word, but kids love to learn big words, so you could even teach that to them. And that's the concept where we get programmed to like certain things. And so even if our body gets a little bit of something every day, eventually our brain is going to get programmed to want that. And so eventually we kind of have a brain in our gut for kind of a layman's terms. But eventually this brain will tell this brain, I want more of that. And this brain will override the taste buds eventually. It can take a while, but it really is great. And so hiding grow food into what your kids already love is a really great way to do that. And pleasant persistence, it can take over 10 tries to really embrace or enjoy something or tolerate it. So keep trying. Modeling. Kids will eventually do and eat what we eat. And so I love this. Why not to give them something great to imitate? I love my kids seeing me enjoy real whole grow food. They see me enjoying, treats and everything, and we really are pretty vocal. Oh, this pizza's so good, or this, this cake or whatever. Let them see you enjoy this amazing salad that you crafted. That was, all these plants were just growing in my garden a few minutes ago. How awesome and beautiful is that? Why not let my kids see me express that and express gratefulness for this food that gets to fill me up and that I think is amazingly delicious. Okay, so this is a concept that I really like that my dad kind of inspired, and this helps kids and adults too, if you like thinking like this, to where you don't always have to be the policeman, but just putting food in a category that they already understand. They get the traffic light. And so where green light food is go for it food. You know, you can just keep going. This food you can pretty much eat all day long. And then yellow light food would be, let's slow down a little bit. Let's see if we can make it, let's slow down on this one a little, or these types of foods. And then red light food would be like, let's stop and see if we can make a better choice. Sometimes we can't. This is what's available, but let's just stop and see. And so this makes it fun for the kids. And you can actually even print one off from this website, or this book that my mom and dad wrote has that chart in it. And I see a lot of moms have this on their refrigerator, and it really empowers children to make choices as they open the refrigerator. And this is something that is really near and dear to my heart as we are shaping our kids' attitudes towards food. Food, in our society can be used a lot of different ways, and I found this in my life as well. I love to be able to impart to our kids to use food the way it was meant to be used, but we have a lot of needs, right? Not just for hunger and thirst, but we have needs for comfort and needs for validation and for our feelings to be soothed and calmed. And I love for food to not be the thing that does that, because it's really easy. It's an easy way to calm ourselves for a little while. But I think that there's other things that can do that, like prayer and connection and focus in that way. This kind of came to life to me just recently when my 10-year-old was kind of going through the kitchen, like grumbling, oh, there's nothing to eat. Just kind of having that attitude and just really complaining, which isn't really like her. And, of course, there was nothing to eat. And I really was getting annoyed because I work hard on stocking my kitchen with plenty of food to eat. So that kind of jabbed me a little bit. And I wanted to fuss at her, but I calmed myself down and I said, Ashton, do you want to make cookies? And she's like, okay, sure. So we spent the next half an hour making cookies with the ingredients that I love to use. And, by the end of that time, she was filled up. She was happy. She was back to her vibrant self. And we hadn't even eaten the cookies yet. And so that really spoke to me and made me recognize it wasn't food that she really needed. It was connection. It was smiles. It was attention. It was involvement. And then we got to sit down and enjoy these beautiful cookies together where the food wasn't what was making her feel better. She was already there. And so that really spoke to me and encouraged me to move in that direction. Because our time is limited today, this is a great resource if you really want to dive into a lot of these details further. I go to this all the time. And I really love this, specifically this article that's on there is really great. So what is whole food? Food is broken down into three main categories, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And so I'm going to spend time on each one, but I'm going to spend most of the time on the top one because carbohydrates are so complex. But I like to call them energy food. I know it does a lot more than that, but really carbohydrates, one of its main purposes is to give us energy. And specifically complex carbohydrates are what's meant to do that. And these are my favorite ones. Fruits and vegetables are definitely my favorite. Carbs have gotten a bad rap over the years, but we really do need them. And depending on our lifestyle and how active we are, about 50% of our diet really should come from carbs, and much of that should come from fruits and vegetables. But these are some of my other favorites that we use, and we'll kind of talk a little bit more about how we get these in. Let me grab some water because it's getting dry. I love my dad teaches that, he's a pediatrician, so he talks to kids a lot. And he says, a good carb has two friends, fiber and protein. If it doesn't have those two friends, it's really not a great carb. It's probably not very nice. That's why the two friends, he doesn't have friends, right? So here's an example of two carbohydrate labels. This one right over here would be a not so great carb. If you see, it has 27 carbs and it has 10 grams of sugar, okay, which isn't great, but it has very little fiber. So that tells me that whatever carb they use, whatever grain they use, has been stripped down of a lot of its natural nutrients, of its fiber, and so none is left. And it has just a little bit of protein, which, you know, grains don't have a lot of protein, but they have a lot of fiber. So if you're not seeing much fiber there, it shows you it's not a great grain. So that's a good clue. This one, on the other hand, has a lot of fiber in it, and it still has that little bit of protein and very little sugars. So this would be the type of carb label, like on our cereals or breads, that you would more want to look for. When you're buying your carbs, like your breads and cereals and all that, these are some words I like to avoid in front of your flours, like enriched, refined, fortified, and bleached. Those will give you another clue that your grains have been stripped. And really they do that so it can sit on the shelf longer, because real whole food spoils. And so they can make more money this way. And this can trick you, because some of these words sound great, like, oh, I want to be enriched. You know, I want my food to be fortified. Fortification, really, they've taken the natural minerals and vitamins out of the food, and they've put synthetic ones in, because they last longer. But if they put those synthetic ones in, then on the front of the box they can say, oh, 100% of your daily vitamin C. But that didn't come from the food. That's something they added. That synthetic, it's not real. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. All right, so sugar is a carb. The typical sugars that are in sodas and our baked goods and our desserts, these would not be the complex carbs. These would not be the type of energy that we want, because this type of sugar promotes that high, but then you get that sugar crash after. It's not going to be that steady energy that a really great carb is supposed to give you. But it's beyond. And we used to hear, oh, you'll rot your teeth. It's really beyond that. Sugar depresses the immunity. I know my dad and my 3 older brothers are pediatricians or doctors, and the week after Halloween is always their busiest week of the year, all the time, because of all the sugar that our kids eat. And it's not here in Southern California. It's not because they were out in the cold at night. So that really is a good reminder to me. Sugar sours behavior, attention, and learning. And I just know how many kids throughout our country are sent off to school with a sugary cereal or a sugary breakfast, donuts, and some of those other things that are so easy and so common. And I get it. It's hard. Mornings can be hard. But we're sending our kids off, already setting them up to not, to sour their behavior, attention, and learning. And what don't those sound like our three of our major problems in our schools? And I love the schools that have done awesome programs where they don't do that. They even provide or encourage healthy breakfasts. And they have seen test scores and behavior just do amazing things in their schools. And those sugar highs. Sugar promotes cravings. When you eat sugar, you're usually not satisfied. You usually want more. And then actually sugar promotes heart disease. I know that we think of like different fats and stuff, but it's actually the sugar, the excess sugar in our society that it's really causing the obesity epidemic and a lot of the cancer and heart disease. Because sugar, when it's not burned, when you don't use it for energy, it's stored as fat. So a lot of people try to do that low-fat thing, trying to help their heart and lose weight, but for most people, it's really the sugar that is the problem, because it really is easy to eat over. People ask me this all the time. We try to if you're looking at your carb label, we try to say in your carbs, try to have 6 grams or under in your cereals and stuff. That's kind of a good. Of course, this wouldn't be your desserts, but for your carbs that you eat every day, like your cereals and breads and stuff like that, try to aim for 6 grams and under. That's a reasonable expectation. And I always want to make sure people don't think I'm advocating artificial sweeteners, because if you just kind of look at this quick list, it's actually, in my educated opinion, it's actually worse. I'd rather people eat real sugar. And then, of course, the worst sugar for you would be the high fructose corn syrup. that would be the sugar that they have altered, and they put it in foods again because it's very sweet and it doesn't spoil. It sits on the shelf for a long time. So high fructose corn syrup is one of those things that if we can just not have that pretty much most of the time or ever, would be a great step in the right direction. But let's talk about what we can't eat, or what's great to fill our cabinets with. These are the healthy alternatives that we use in our house. So my family eats most of our food at home, honestly. Like probably 90% of our food we eat at home. We love to cook. For our budget, we don't eat out a lot and stuff like that. And so I know if I stock my kitchen with a lot of this great stuff, and we use these sweeteners, then when we go out, out and about, I don't have to worry about it so much. That's not going to matter so much because what we do at home is really so great. So that can be a great motivator. Okay, fruit and vegetables really are the perfect carb, and we're supposed to get about 50% of our eating from carbs. Much of that really should be from fruits and vegetables. They're very nutrient dense, meaning for the amount of calories that a fruit and vegetable is, which is relatively small, it is packed with nutrients versus something that's like a fast food, which is an enormous amount of calories and almost no nutrients. So and veggies are difficult to overeat. It's really hard to eat too many. They're kind of free foods. For instance, a tomato. A tomato will have about 26 calories, and your body will, just through chewing it and processing that, will burn about that many calories. So you're getting all that nutrients without getting that excess calories in. And of course, it has awesome fiber that helps fill up tummies. So one reason I like to encourage eating so much fruits and vegetables is because if you do, then you're not going to have as much room in your tummy for the junk. If you eat all those great grow foods first, then there's just a little bit of room for something for those other foods that we like to enjoy at times. And then, of course, the cancer-fighting phytonutrients in the food. Phytonutrients are just the nutrients that are in plants. And there's tens and hundreds of thousands of phytonutrients in food, in our fruits and vegetables. I love this again from my favorite book. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seeds in it, and they will be yours for food. I just love it. He didn't just put them here. He told us. I just love this quote. I'm going to print this up and put it on my refrigerator. I just decided. Right now, I usually show a short video, but I'm not going to be able to have time to do that. But again, this is from the DVD that you're welcome to take home and hear my dad talk about why we like to eat fruits and vegetables. But this is really a great slide, and I love just staring at this because I'm kind of a nerd like that. But I just love looking to see what God put in produce to do to our bodies. It's like, pharmaceuticals and all this stuff, they've come up with these things to help patch things up when they don't go so great. But look what God did. Look what he gave us to have forever to help our bodies do that. Combats cancer, promotes weight loss, protects your heart, controls blood pressure, smooths skin, blocks diarrhea, slows down the aging process, cushions joints. These are amazing, amazing things. My husband, his mom got breast cancer when she was 15 years old. Yeah, that's some strong genetics right there. And again, when she was 20. We know that there is a phytonutrient in broccoli that goes straight to the breast cancer receptor sites in your cells and turns them off. You guys, that's powerful. That's something to get excited about. So my kids eat broccoli every single day, literally. They do. So, and there's a million things like that in our fruits and vegetables. So I'll tell you a little bit more about my dad's story. I was in college, and I got that call that we all dread from my mom saying, Hayden, Dad has cancer, colon cancer. It's very serious. You need to come home. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that horrible sick feeling in your stomach. So he went through the surgery and everything, and that was successful, but that even wasn't the worst part, actually. The worst part was the next year to come, the chemotherapy and the radiation, and literally watching the hero of my life just become broken. But amongst that horrible time, something really beautiful started to birth in my dad. And it was beyond just the will to live, because you see that a lot. It was this craving, almost this obsession to figure out how his 8 children would never have to go through what he was going through. That was really the driving force of what was his passion that was starting. And what he did, he spent the next year of his recovery poring over research articles and journals. And luckily, the position he's been in, he has access to the top minds in prevention and healing and all that. And so he just gleaned all this knowledge from these people and from these books. And that would be the basis for his next 7 books on health and nutrition. But really, it started with a little packet that he had put together for his 8 children on how to never have to get colon cancer, really. And which was so great to me, because I think you can all maybe really relate with a dad's passion to help his children. And if you've been through an experience like cancer, you can really understand where his mind was at. One of the things, though, that really surprised him in his research was, every person that he talked to, every place kind of has their own philosophy on prevention and care, but what everybody agreed upon was what you needed to keep your body healthy or to heal is a mass amount of fruits and vegetables. And as a scientist, he's like, really? Is it really that simple? And his research showed him that it was. For him as a sick man, he needed a lot. He needed maybe 20 servings a day, and raw, hopefully. But what surprised him even more was that even perfectly healthy people need more than he thought, about 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. And so I remember he would just encourage us so much, keep eating those. And in his practice, he would do the same thing. He would really try to impart wisdom and knowledge to these moms and these kids that he saw. And I know a lot of us, we know we usually don't get enough every day, so we often turn to a multivitamin to try to get more nutrients into our diet. However, we're finding more, we've known this for quite many years, but it's coming out more in the media that a multivitamin really isn't the way to go. In fact, they're finding some adverse effects to getting all of these synthetic vitamins in our diet. Our food is now laced with many of them often, and so we're getting a lot of these even without taking a multivitamin. But this is a multivitamin versus, this is just one page of many of what is in an apple, of all these amazing phytonutrients that's in an apple that work together in synergy with each other. And so when you isolate vitamins, when you have them here, just a handful of them, that's not how they were created. They were created to work together, all these tens of thousands of things to work together into your body to do amazing things. And so I just love for people to not rely on something that's man-made. Rely on what this amazing creation that God gave us. So as my dad is talking to his patients and really trying to inspire them to do this, he ran into a wall, because I kind of laugh when I think about it. If you know my dad, he's so cute and he's so passionate. But you try telling a mom with a newborn and a 2-year-old, maybe a teenager, that, yeah, your family needs to eat 9 to 13 servings of vegetables every day, and they should be raw. Go for that. Go for it. It's like, I'm sorry. That's really hard, because that's just one more thing that you're trying to encourage a tired mom to do. And so he was thrilled when he found something to help, it's called Juice Plus. Basically, it is concentrated fruits and vegetables in a capsule or soft chewable. And so this is something that he really embraced, not only in his life to help in his recovery and our family staying healthy, but he was able to share this as an amazing tool to his patients to help them not feel so overwhelmed, really bridge the gap between what they really are realistically able to eat every day to what they really need to be eating every day for just that amazing long-term nutrition. And it really is all these fruits and vegetables that you're seeing still in the raw form. They've been vine ripened. There's no pesticides or anything in it. These are whole food. In fact, on the label, even though it looks like a pill, it's still considered food. It has a nutrition label, not like a supplement or pill label. And you see broccoli's on there. I told you my family eats broccoli every single day. Turning those breast cancer receptor sites off. Doing what I can to battle those genetics. One of the reasons my dad's able to share Juice Plus and talk about Juice Plus is because of the research that's behind it. And if that's something that interests you, if you're that type of research person and you like the studies, feel free to talk to me about it because I can show you those because they're pretty compelling. For me, I'm like, what? My kids can get 25 fruits and vegetables every day just by chewing a soft chewable? Done. For him, he needed the research, and so that's great. I love this quote. There's nothing else available any place in the world with or without a prescription that has been shown to do all those things in the human body. And I love working and knowing these amazing doctors and colleagues that, they were trained in pharmaceuticals. They were trained in how to use them. But they see that really, let's start with food. Let's start with things that we know and that have been not only proven to work, but this is what's here. This is what's on our earth. And I also love the Children's Health Study. This is where if an adult buys Juice Plus for themselves, they can sponsor a child to get it for free. And right now we have over 700,000 children getting free Juice Plus, which I think is amazing and doing such great things in our world. And these are just some of the results we've seen from kids taking Juice Plus for about a year, which I think is awesome. So for me, for about the cost of a cup of coffee, me and one of my kids can get all these produce in every day, which is, remember when I talked about that hassle-benefit ratio? This is like the biggest benefit for almost no hassle. In fact, I have to kind of hide them sometimes so my kids don't keep eating them. These are other ways I love to get produce in. I like to encourage my family, eat a rainbow. Let's just not eat this one thing. Let's eat a rainbow of colors. And farmers markets. We have some amazing farmers markets here. One of the reasons I love farmers markets is because the food is fresh. Lots of the foods we buy in typical grocery stores, the produce has been picked for so long. So it's really depleted of a lot of its nutrients, and it wasn't fine ripened. And we know that a lot of the produce, a lot of the nutrients gets into our produce in the last 48 hours of ripening. And so a lot of our produce that we eat didn't get that opportunity. And farmers markets, typically it's been vine ripened and it's fresh. So I love farmers markets. And these are some other great, growing your own garden. Does anybody garden here? Awesome. I failed at gardening 3 times because I just knew how awesome it was. But it's hard work and it took a lot of time. So I finally have my first successful garden for about 2 years. And it's because it takes almost no work. There's no dirt, there's no weeding. It's aeroponics, so it's up, it's vertical. And if something like this interests you, come talk to me because it's the way I've been able to do it without it taking a lot of hassle, right? Because I don't need any more of that. This is at the point in my talk where I really like to make sure people know this because it's really easy to present a lot of these ideals. But you don't have to be perfect, and that's what I love. Sometimes I feel like if we do eat enough fruits and vegetables, it really can kind of help cover us when we like to splurge. I really do. I eat chocolate almost every day. I love to splurge. My friends who know me, I love pizza, I love all that sorts of stuff, but it's like a small percentage of what I do. And because I eat so many fruits and vegetables, all those amazing phytonutrients can really help protect my body when I like to splurge. All right. Don't fight the fats. They're brain food. Carbs for energy food. Fats are brain foods. These are my favorite fats that we try to get in every single day. Some of these. If you guys are looking for a great alternative to cook with, I love cooking and baking with coconut oil. It has amazing benefits. All right. Fats build brains. I'm getting the 10-minute warning from my lovely assistant. Fats build healthy cells. Fats help your body use vitamins. Fats make hormones, and fats actually help you stay lean. Healthy fats, when eaten, they will help you slim down if that's what needs to happen. And it promotes healthy skin, so it's just the added benefit. And here's some more. Again, improving learning and attention span in school children. Again, this is what they're eating. This is what's going to help them. An elevated mood resulting in less depression. This is great. I mean, I homeschool my kids. I'm home all day with them much of the time. I need my mood elevated sometimes. I need some help with that. And so I love that God gives us this healthy, amazing fat to do that for us. Really, to keep it simple with fats from seafood and plants are our healthiest fats, our omega-3 fats. Those are really what we want to fill our bodies with. Fats from animal sources, those are okay in moderation. But fats from the factory, hydrogenated oils are the worst fats. Those will, best to just really not have almost any of those in our diet, if very few. Fast food is a big problem. This is actually a picture of a Happy Meal, and I have it in back. You can come see it afterwards. I've had this for about 5 years now, and this is what it looks like still. Right? It shouldn't be there anymore. It shouldn't. It should be gone. So kind of my rule of thumb when I'm thinking what I should eat or feed my family, if a single-celled organism doesn't even want to come and eat my food, I don't want to either. So that's my thing about fast food. I just love to encourage people. Let's try to really diminish the money we give to these organizations that make this food. If you're interested more in fat, my dad wrote a whole book about it, and it's fascinating. I'm going to pause real quick because I have a little bit more to go, but remember I said we were going to raffle off some of those awesome DVDs? The gals that I get to work with in the back, they're going to pass out a form that you can fill out to use for that raffle. I love giving away stuff. It's just fun. But we also get to use it to find out what you're interested in more, if you want more information about certain things. Because I have very little time, but I just love imparting people with resources that they really want and embrace. So feel free to fill that out and let us know what you would like more information about. And we'll collect those at the end and pull, we'll let the pastor pull some things from that. These are Terry and Terry. I just thought we made it easy for you. These are gals I get to work with, and they and themselves are amazing resources. So afterwards, we will all stay around and would love to hear your questions and chat with you about any more details you would like to know. Power up with proteins. So we have carbohydrates, our energy food. We have fats, which are our brain food. I like to think of proteins as our muscle food. And I'm going to keep it super, super simple for protein. Eat clean and lean. Try to eat clean protein. Think about what did this animal eat? Like, not so much what animal should I eat, but what did this animal eat? So that's kind of just a different way of thinking about it. These are some of our typical proteins that we eat. We love fish. We're a huge advocate of eating fish. I've made it a priority in my family to serve fish at least 3 times a week. And that's where shaping young tastes can really come in handy, because right away, if you start, about 10, 12 months, if you start giving them that really good quality fish, they will learn to love fish, and they will thank you later in life, because it's harder to make yourself learn to love fish. All right, I'm almost done. I just want to end with a couple things that are going to help us kind of integrate what we have talked about in our daily life. Grazing. I really like the concept of grazing. When we eat the 3 square meals a day, that doesn't really fit with how our bodies are made necessarily. If we can, I love letting people know you can go outside that box. My dad really advocates eating maybe 5 or 6 mini meals throughout the day instead of 3 big meals. Is really better for your system. And it's really great for kids too, because this is about how big our stomachs are, everybody's fists. So if you think of a 2-year-old, their fist is really small. Letting them graze on grow foods throughout the day is really helpful for them and their learning. One of the ways I love to graze is using smoothies. I have a smoothie every single day. And this is typically what I put in my smoothie. And then my leftover goes in the smoothie popsicle holds because that's a quick, snack or a mini meal for my kids and I that I don't have to make again. Hassle-free. I'm so big on smoothies, in fact, that it gets its own slide with 3 exclamation points on it. Because I can put so many great things in that my kids don't have to even taste. My secret ingredient is the Juice Plus Complete Protein Powder. It really covers up. I can throw kale and spinach and all this stuff in my smoothie, and they don't even know it's there. And these are the amazing superfoods that are in the Juice Plus Complete that we all get in every day without even really realizing it. I know for some people, like they like to be a part of something, or you might like a jump start into some of these healthy habits. And so I like to put forward, like if you're the type of person that I like a 1, 2, 3, give me that type of a thing. This is something some of my colleagues and I put together. It's a 6-week jump start into this new way of eating. Basically, you eat 1 meal a day, 1 or 2 meals a day is a smoothie using the Juice Plus Complete and getting that amazing nutrition, the clean and lean protein. And then eating your other meals just very clean, drinking plenty of water, exercising, and then of course taking your Juice Plus. You get plenty of fruits and vegetables in every day. My husband and I do this at least 5 days a week. We do this, and I find it so respectful that my husband has really jumped in this with me. And now because he works downstairs in our house and I work upstairs, as a mom, he'll text me. He's like, "I'm ready for my longevity in a cup," which I think is so sweet and respectful that he respects not only himself but his family enough to really embrace these habits and not only put up with it when I serve it, but ask for it. I find that really cute. Creating community, and I'm going to end with this. Habits and tools like this are so much more easily embraced when we do it with somebody. So you guys look around. This is your church. These are people that are wanting to learn about this and embracing these things too. So find somebody to keep yourself accountable and do this with. It makes it so much more fun. Because really this is who's trying to shape our community. And remember, they have those billions of dollars. But we have choice. We have choice, and that is very, very powerful. I'm going to end with this. I'm curious, in your head, think about what is it that you love? What fills you up? What gets you out of bed in the morning? If you think about those answers that are going on in your mind, those are really only possible or maybe fully enjoyable if you have good health. And so I'm hoping that these tools today will really inspire you to do more of what you love forever. In fact, this picture inspires me. This is my dad in his mid-70s, staying up really late on Christmas Eve, building Legos with his grandson. He should be sleeping. But he's so excited and vibrant. And then he has enough energy to wake up early in the morning and play Santa. And this picture right here inspires me to, I want that. I want to be that grandparent in my grandkid's life. So really it's my hope that these tools will not only inspire you to have a long, healthy life, but will help you have a lot more life in those years and forever to come. So thank you. You can come back up. Yay. Yeah, and my friend Terry's are going to collect the raffle, and then we'll let the pastor pick some. We'll give away two DVDs. And if anybody else wants a DVD at the end, they're only $3 each. If you are wanting to learn more about Juice Plus, please come visit us in back. We can help you place an order today or answer your questions on that. And if anybody does place an order today, we're actually able to gift you with one of those DVDs to take home for you and your family. So thank you guys for having me.
Yay. Hayden, thank you. Now, I think we have a couple minutes for some questions.
Yeah.
What might be a good question you got?
Oh, awesome. Great.
I just wanted to clarify, you said something like under 6 grams. Is that under 6 grams of sugar?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. Thank you. Under 6 grams of sugar. Yeah, it was a great... No, thank you for clarifying. Yeah.
I'm curious how important organic is. I mean, if you talk about farmers markets, and
right.
A lot of them are, but...
Well, Okay, so organic is, unfortunately, it's becoming one of those money things. Like, it costs a lot to have your food be organic. And so I used to be like, it has to say organic, but now I'm not so much. I just herbicide-free, pesticide-free, those are more important, especially in farmers markets. A lot of these people don't have the money to get that certification. Unfortunately, it costs a lot of money, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the USDA certification for organic doesn't mean the food is all organic. It just, there's like I think it's 90, it has to be like 90%, so you're still not getting totally clean food. I love being able to buy organic when I can afford it. If you search online, you can find something called the Dirty Dozen, and then the Clean 15. So the Dirty Dozen is where I'll spend my extra money on the organic. And then the other things, I just try to buy fresh and vine ripened and stuff like that. Yeah. GMO. Yes, that can be a tricky thing. One of the things with that, I shop. Where I shop really helps with that, I find, because places like Trader Joe's, and I also love Sprouts, but I know Trader Joe's, any of their brand food they don't use GMO. So for me, I do most of my shopping there because it's kind of hassle-free. I know they have not used GMO in their foods. That could be a whole nother talk, but yes, I really try to limit any sort of GMO food, like things especially like corn and soy, really should be clean. Organic corn, if you're going to buy soy products, non-GMO. Soy can be great, like that's one of the type of proteins in the Juice Plus Complete, but it's very clean. And so, yeah, I know that's not a great answer, but
and GMO means?
Oh, genetically modified. And so I try to decrease that type of stuff, but sometimes you don't know. That's what's difficult.
Other questions?
Yeah.
As a mom I have to say the Juice Plus, with people similar that it's huge in my family too. And my kids are puppy dogs. I literally say vitamin time at a certain time, every day, and they know they get their 2 foods and 2 cookies and their gummies.
The little
And
gummies,
they
yeah.
come from whatever they are, and like you said, you have to hide them. I do too. It's one of the ways for that, their daily vitamin.
Awesome.
It's so amazing.
That's great. I hear that all the time. That's how I actually have potty trained most of my kids is the gummies. Yeah. I'm like, they just ate 25 fruits and vegetables, and they think that they just got an awesome treat. Great. Yeah.
Any last questions? Okay, if my oatmeal is aluminum cut, what's up with steel cut? What is that?
Steel cut oats are awesome. Anybody who wants to stay and chat or have more questions, please do. And let's pick some awesome winners.
Boy, any two? Carl.
Yay!
How about, you'll pay me later, right? Anna.
Yay!
Anna, way to go. Congratulations.
Awesome.
I'll keep going if you want.
I know, I wish.
Well, this is great. Hayden, thank you very much. How many of you learned a few things today? How many of you are scared to death of McDonald's at this point? I'll never forget my daughter. This was great. My daughter went to the University of San Diego. And on the one end of the University of San Diego was the Joan Kroc Building for Peace Action in the World. Joan Kroc is McDonald's. On the other end was the Jenny Craig Sports Complex, right on the same campus. I really loved it. You have McDonald's and Jenny Craig right there represented. Hayden, thank you very much
You're
again.
welcome.
Please go back and visit our tip. Let me close this in prayer, okay? Lord, thank you for this wisdom today that Hayden and her parents, actually, her whole family, has brought together and helps us to recognize what you have given to us in these foods and plants and seeds that you have designed for us to eat healthy and have healthy and long-living bodies. And Lord, all that so we can learn to love you with our bodies and to love others with those bodies as well. So thank you for this nurturance that we've received from this presentation. And Lord, we hope that we can enact it more in our own lives and model that indeed for our children. So thank you for this time. Thank you for each of these parents that are here for their love for their children as well. May this all be a part of what it means to love you and our neighbor better. Thank you again for providing Hayden for us today and this time. All of this we do commit to you. In the name of Christ, our Savior and Lord, and all God's people said, amen. Thanks so much again. Thanks for being here. Again, next Growing Families in here, April 13th, Love and Logic. We'll see you then. Stop at the back table and get those DVDs.